Hey guys, Jimmy here from Unstoppable International, and I'm super pumped to have you guys here because in this interview that we've got coming up, it's a case study with one of our amazing clients, Dane Tomas, how he went from, in his own words, skinny fat to building a lean, muscular, athletic body and packing on 5 kilos of lean muscle in the process. And it's just a conversation that we're having where we're talking about his story, about how he went through it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and sharing the finer details of how he actually made that transition, how he changed from being frustrated and not understanding what he needs to do with his food, with his training, with his recovery, and then how you can implement similar systems as well to be able to actually get the results that you want instead of just spinning your wheels and feeling frustrated all the time. Now, look, you're probably sitting there thinking, this is this is an interview, this is him, but how can I personally do that? Well, you're in for a bit of a treat, guys, because if you go below the video here, you can claim yourself a 15-minute fitness ignition session. And this is simply where we go through a conversation, a call where you and I will have a chat. We talk about exactly your current situation, about what you actually want to achieve, and then we can develop a game plan by removing any barriers that are stopping you from getting there. And all you simply do is pop your details down, and we do this through a 15-minute little call. Now, after you've done that, come back up to the interview here, watch the rest of this video, because I'm super pumped for you to be able to see exactly what Dane did and then how you can implement it as well. I'll see you in the interview, guys. Peace. Yeah. People, we have got Dane, the man, Dane Tomas, on the call here with us today. And we're basically he's got some phenomenal results with the Unstoppable online coaching program. And I want to say thanks for jumping on and taking the time out to chat to us today, bro.
Yeah, it's too easy.
But yeah, basically, I just wanted to chat to you, find out a little bit more about your results, like what you experienced, so you can actually share it with the guys here, so they can implement basically what you've done, so they can go
Mm,
and take it away after watching the video today, and be able to get the similar, if not the exact same results as you, so they can go out there and smash it. So,
mm.
first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Are you what do you do with yourself these days?
I'm a writer and an entrepreneur, so I've written a couple of books. I'm working on my newest book, which is called The Integrated Man, and I basically run an online media business or a personal development business, and sort of run trainings and teachings through the internet and through live events and so on.
Yeah, nice one. And so before coming to the Unstoppable online program, what would you say your current situation was with your health and your fitness before joining the program?
Current situation, I guess I would be like a um a recovering bookworm, you know. So I'd been most of my life not too athletic, and then started to improve that in the last couple of years gradually, doing a bit of work on posture and movement and stuff. But I'd never really crossed the threshold. I'd wanted to train weights and just started dabbling with weights, and sort of chatted to you about that probably 3 or 6 months before the challenge. So I just started creeping into like a little bit of home gym sort of stuff. So really kind of new to the world of strength training,
Yeah.
and definitely new to the world of uh, targeted, like creating bodily change with a kind of real intention or intensity.
Yeah, okay. So pretty much didn't really, just to recap, you sort of didn't really know too much, had a bit of a dabble with the weights. What about physically, like how you're looking and feeling in the body?
I think kind of realizing I was a bit weaker than I wanted to be. Definitely weaker than I was in a place of only really just starting to get real about where I was at, which was like, by no means in any terrible state, but just not particularly fit, not particularly strong, and realizing, I'm 37. I'm kind of like, what did I say to you? I'm like, Jimmy, I've realized I'm skinny fat. And I was like, fuck,
Totally. That was
that's the
exactly what you
worst.
said. That was
Yeah, I was
exactly
like,
what you said.
oh, so I'd started working on that by myself and had some sort of more subtle improvements, like definitely I'd started making some sort of slight moves, but I was definitely in a place of like, oh, I'd like to be able to do something that feels like a legit change, you know, because I've been watching these gradual changes and going, oh, that's kind of all right, I guess. It's better than going backwards. Like I'm definitely getting better, but it wasn't like crazy exciting or anything.
Totally. So it's just like minimal results if sort of like there's a little bit of something there, but nothing
Cre
to like write home
Creeping
about.
along. Yeah, just
Yeah.
starting to creep along. Yeah.
Okay. And so like what did you feel like obviously you wanted to be stronger, you wanted to see some changes in the body and stuff like that, but do you feel like that where you currently were that was impacting what you wanted to do at that point in time?
Yeah, look, I just started training jiu-jitsu this year seriously, like taking it, wanting to get good at it, and I could feel, you know, like I'm kind of wrestling and fighting with lots of like young, fit tradies, and I live in Byron Bay, so like, you know, surfer dudes and kind of athletic dudes that are like 23 or 24, and I can be technically a bit better than them and really fucking struggle because they're just fitter and stronger. So there's this like, this isn't really giving me what I want, and even like um sort of sexually and stuff, like just knowing, I'm not as hot as like physically I don't look as good naked as I would like to look. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I'm not where I could be. So I guess that I'm a pretty confident and happy person in general, but those two areas, wanting to compete a little bit athletically and wanting to be like a more attractive physical specimen, that those, you know, they were there. They weren't. It wasn't ruining my life, but it was like, I'm I'm not what I could be here, you know.
It
And I'm
started to become apparent to yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Okay. And so like what do you feel like was the obviously then you jumped on board, did the Unstoppable program, and what do you feel like was the biggest like sort of like light bulb moments or biggest sort of like things where you're like, holy shit, I've had this big gap and these are the things that have sort of filled it for you?
Think the the intensity and the quantities of the training, you know, that was like I said, you know, I'd been doing weights and I'd do a little bit and it kind of add up to like, you know, you told me to start tracking volume before I started the program, so I was tracking like, you know, 3,000 in a week, and that's a fair bit, right? Like that's doing something. And then as soon as we got in the program, just watching the amounts of what I could do just go up and up and up, and going from like, what would it have been? It was like, I think it was like 10,000 kgs the first week, you know? And I was like, fuck, that's more than my last month. And then beating that, you know, going like 12,000 in the next week. And I was like, oh, so in that 1 month, even though I kind of tapered off a bit in the fourth week due to travel and whatever, but in that month, I would have done more volume than I had done in probably the 5 months before, which would be the time in which I'd started training. And I wasn't like I was killing myself, like they were just good workouts. So it really expanded my mindset around, partly around what's possible, but also around what's required to actually get a noticeable change.
Totally. So like were you working out longer though?
No, it was short. They were actually slightly shorter. So I've been doing hour to maybe hour 15 casual workouts, and then with your program, I went to like 45 to 50 minute workouts that were more intensified and more targeted.
So you're training less but doing more and getting more results obviously.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome. That's exactly what you,
yeah.
that's
I
the
was
dream, right?
I was back in the house having a smoothie by the 60 minute period. You know? I was like, cool. I would be still going with my shitty little routine. So yeah, it was more realizing how much more intentional you can be about it. I was like, I was like, oh, this is how people are changing their bodies. It's like the intensity of it and the fucking focus of it. That was the biggest aha. I was like, oh, I'm just
Totally.
seeing these numbers going like, holy shit, I've done like 15,000 kgs this week. Oh, and then my mind's like, of course you're gonna change.
Yeah.
Like,
And
of
so
course,
the
yeah.
training side of things was huge. Obviously, that was a big step up. What about the food side of things for you as well?
Yeah, I would say they were equally big. I'd say they're almost like, it's hard to measure exactly, but they both had a big impact. And the tracking the food and the posting it, the accountability was really good for me. Like just starting to track everything. Excuse me, you need a bit of air in here.
Don't want you passing out.
Yeah, the really getting clear on what was going in and sort of tidying that up and working to a more targeted kind of macros target, that was a big deal. And even though I haven't been tracking to the same degree since I'm eating basically the same, so it's like that 28 days has changed my thinking probably permanently. Like I can feel when I'm under or over. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's I can see it because doing it every day just starts to train the brain and just that consistency. I think like having like one day having a blowout and eating a shitload of pizza on my girlfriend's birthday and being like, oh, that's huge. That's not like a slight discrepancy. That's like twice what I should have eaten today. And I was like, fuck, okay, that taught me quite a lot.
Yep. So you probably got, by the sounds of it, like the overarching theme is like having more tracking of
Yeah,
everything. So like,
yeah,
but knowing what to track and how to track it and stuff like that. So you know if you're on track or you're veering off the path, so to speak.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the other thing you touched on was the accountability side of things as well, obviously, because then it's like, okay, shit, because obviously we did the program together. Just to clarify for everyone watching, Dane did the initial 28-day Kickstarter program that we had, which was like we had a guinea pig trial before we launched officially, and now he's on to our 6-month program rolling on after that. So what we're talking about here is his results in the 28 days, and I want you guys to stay posted for what we can achieve over the next 6 months together when he's doing the Lean Fit Strong program as well.
Mm.
But with this 28 days, it sounds like, just to recap here, tracking of your training, tracking of your nutrition, and your accountability. Do you feel like they were the three biggest things?
That's the three biggest things, yeah. And the tracking of the training combined with a bit of education around it, like how to really target it and how to put how much energy to go in. But yeah, the tracking across all areas and like I like to blog and journal and that stuff, so I really went into that with like, I wasn't just like I lifted this and I ate this. I was like, I feel like this today, and I got real angry when I was lifting, and then today I couldn't be fucked, but I did it anyway, and then I
Yeah,
felt good. Oh, today I'm tired, and it was like, um, that just kept me enrolled in a way that I wouldn't be if I wasn't tracking it.
totally. And that was from my side of things. It was interesting to see inside the mind of someone that's trialing it out, because sometimes I can be on this side of the things. That I've gone through this so many years ago when I was first learning it 10 years ago to now
Yeah,
when you're in that spot, and it transported me back to going all those emotions of like, oh man, I don't feel like it, and I feel like but I still went, and whoa, my arms are starting to change, and all this sort of
yeah,
those
yeah,
things that are like newbie sort of like realizations, which is really cool for you to share, man. I really appreciated that.
yeah.
But moving forward, though, let's get a bit more tangible. Like, what were some of the results that you got, like physically, maybe strength wise and stuff like that as well?
Strength, the best measure is probably my deadlift, which went from like 50-ish to 90-ish.
Wow. So we nearly doubled your deadlift in a month.
Yeah, yeah. And that's like, and like doing 80, 85 for reps, like, whole lots of 80, 85.
A
Like
whole
that's,
lot of reps.
yeah, a whole lot of reps. That was big. Um, and that showed up in the Jiu Jitsu as well. Like I could feel like my ability to like shrug people off or just grab a pair of legs or arms and just throw them out of the way. There's this deeper confidence. I could feel that in like the base and the posterior chain. It's like, oh, there's some driving power here. Like it's been switched on. So that's the best measure I've got is probably the deadlift though. Like that was a
And what
big
about from the
improvement.
opposite sex? What about from your missus?
Yeah, she loved it. She was definitely noticing. She's like, oh, you're so much bigger. It's like just a definite kind of polarity and attraction increase where I'm more in my body and more heavy and stronger and leaner. And you can, I'd come home and sort of grab her and we could just feel it between us. It's like, oh, there's a strong increased kind of spark, because there's this like, I just feel more masculine when I'm lifting. It's like
That's
it's
awesome,
a
man.
simple fact.
Because that's the ultimate, right? You can say
Yeah,
you want to get faster, leaner, stronger, but you know why? Opposite sex is probably 99% of the time
pretty
for
big.
men.
It's pretty
It's
big.
pretty
Yeah,
big, right? So that's awesome, man, that she noticed, and she was quite supportive along the way as well, which helped too.
yeah, really encouraging. Yeah,
Um, and then I would say to give the guys out there tangible numbers though as well, is that looking of Dane's measurements, photos, and stuff like that, and with actually tracking his progress, he would put on a solid 5 kilos of lean muscle over the time, but while he's reduced a bit of body fat, would have been 4.5 to 5 kilos of solid lean muscle. And below this, I'll have some images of his before and afters if you don't mind me sharing them. You can see he's pretty
that's
much gone
fine.
from the what I'd like to say from scrawny to brawny, which is it's pretty phenomenal, just the change that you can even see in the 28 days, especially on the chest, the shoulders, the back, all the upper body stuff like that. It's a big noticeable change, which is awesome to see, bro. And
Yeah,
well done as well, because I know how tough it
thanks.
can be. It's quite tough when you're trying to start something new, you're trying to start a new lifestyle, basically, with new training, new
Yeah,
sleep routines. You know, you've got new food and everything like that, but you just really grabbed it, ran with it, and just did one day at a time. Didn't try and get too overwhelmed. You're just like, you know what, this is it. Hit a
yeah,
roadblock, and you just pretty much hit the roadblocks and went, oh shit, hold on, Jimmy, what's this? Readjust, and then we go the next way, instead of just sort of
yeah,
throwing all your toys out of the pram going, oh, it's too hard, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was really cool, man, that you just really sort of persevered. But that's the impact on you now, and obviously we're still continuing together. But what would you say is the say top 3 tips you could give to the guys listening now, how they could get similar results to yourself?
I reckon the food tracking. It's like, assuming someone is already training. The, I think the food tracking is huge,
Yep, that's
and
one.
that will be massive. Um, 2, getting advice or coaching on weight training.
Cool, that's 2.
That's definite. And I think having really clear kind of bite-sized goals, like, and I still haven't got the body fat percentage bit measured, but having something like, I wanted to go from like 14 to 12, I think, which I'm pretty sure I would have done.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And like, I went from 81 to 78, and it's like, just having something to measure that is not over like, the next year. It's over like 28 days. That was cool, because the
Cool.
scale will be up, scale will be down, and be like, oh, okay, that's just something to focus on.
So the 3 things would be track your food, make sure you know what you're doing with your food.
Yeah,
Get some advice from a coach, mentor, or someone that's got a result similar to what you want to get. And what
yeah.
was the last one there? To have small
Have a,
bite-size
have an
goals.
outcome you're trying to get to. Even though, like, by the time I got there, I didn't really give a shit about the percentage, because I was changing, but I needed something to be like, that's why I'm not eating a kebab right now. It's like, fuck my goal. Like, it's like, something bigger than the day to day, but not, I'm a big goals guy in business and life and stuff, but having 28 days was small enough that it was like, well, I can do anything for 28 days, surely. Like, I'll just
Yeah.
keep going, and yeah.
And that's what
So,
we've done now moving forward. We've given you like 30-day benchmarks now, just to keep it that short and break it down into sort of weekly little mini milestones to try and hit, instead of like going, oh, I've got 12 months or 6 months to try and hit this. And
yeah,
it just seems
yeah,
so
it's too
big.
big. Yeah.
And there was something else I was going to say there, but it's totally gone from my mind. So, but that's totally all right. But that's just say the top 3 things again, just to recap, as we were saying, was track your food, get some advice, and have smaller bite-sized sort of goals.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Dane, it's been awesome having you on here, bro. Absolutely loving it. And is there any parting words you'd like to say to the guys out there before we wrap this up?
Work with Jimmy. Do it.
I did not pay him to say that. Dude, appreciate you taking the time out having a chat with us, man. And guys, if you are actually interested in So having a chat, we can actually go below this video. There'll be a little box where you can enter in some details. We can have a 15-minute, what we call a fitness ignition session, where we just basically go over your current situation. We can find out any current roadblocks that are getting you in the way and help you devise a game plan where we can get you from where you are now, from where you want to get to, all within 15 minutes, so you can help you get similar results to Dane. But Dane, again, thanks, bro.
Cheers, mate.
We'll see you in the group. I'll see you what we can pull out for the next 6 months of this training.
Sweet. Cheers, bro.